and sit down.
Welcome to Reddit iRacing League. Welcome to HJBC, one and all, ladies and gentlemen. And tonight, what an interesting combination we have for you. It is the 2013-2014 Ford Falcon V8 supercar at Charlotte Oval. Yes, they've taken the Australian supercar, and here it is on an oval course for your viewing pleasure. I'm David Haynes, our producer Michael Derby, and alongside me is going to be Aaron Thacker for what's a exciting 1 hour race ahead of us. But Aaron, we're in qualifying right now.
Yeah, David, we are in qualifying right now. This is going to be a real blast to watch. These cars have about as much downforce as a coffee table and weigh about as much as a Winnebago or a caravan, as they call it, over the other side of the pond. So, David, we are in for a real show tonight. We are watching some very quick time come in from our leaders. And, David, we got a lot going on out here.
Yep, that's for certain. So the qualifying format, well, they've started it with 10 minutes and each driver gets 4 laps. And we've seen a few drivers completing the 4 of their laps. Improving his time just then was Austin Burdick, but currently it's Justin Lemons at the top of the timing tower. Jordan Babcock in second and Alexander Bueller in third. A few drivers out there still to improve on their laps, but 31 seconds isn't a bad lap time around Charlotte Oval in a car that is not designed for and has never really done ovals.
Now, David, we're going to see some pretty brutal tire wear tonight. As I mentioned, these cars weigh a whole ton, but that's 635 horsepower. You're going to get a lot of pull on the straightaways. And, David, I'm going to do a quick rundown our points. So right now, Alex Albert is leading the RiL Racing League with 278 points. Giovanni Romano in P2 in points with 268. John Patrick 213. Thomas Ellison 203. And Alex Crawford running out our top 5 in points with 199, David. And looking down our leaderboard here, where are our top 5 in points currently looking?
That's a good question. I'm seeing Alex Albert in 21st at bottom of the times almost with a 31.558, so he's going to have a big race ahead of him. Giovanni Romano, I think, was looking a little bit more middle pack. He hasn't come out on track for qualifying yet, I don't think so. So he's definitely still got time to get out there and set a lap. I saw him out in practice, unless he's intentionally going to try and start from the back of the grid. And certainly with a 1 hour race ahead of us, there's plenty of time to gain positions, especially we're expecting some pit strategy, some pit stops. The fuel tank in these cars will not under any circumstances go an hour, especially an oval course like this where it's going to be pretty flat chat. So yeah, even if you do start from the back of the grid, someone like Alex Albert or Giovanni Romano, you're going to have some time to move up, not just on track, but when it comes to the pit stops and taking tires, taking fuel, that sort of thing.
Yeah, we are going to see some very quick laps early on in this, and then I think we're going to see a little bit of dancing around here as that car wears up. But David, we talk about it every time we are on an oval track. The BAMS Nation comes out, and David, you know they are super excited tonight to see this oval track and BAMS Nation. They have a lot to cheer about very early on in this qualifying session. Jordan Babcock sitting quite pretty in P2 with a 31 dead, excuse me, David, a 31.046, just a few hundredths behind Justin Lemons in P1 with a 31.029, which is a smoking lap compared to everybody else so far.
Yeah, right up there. That's a very, very competitive time. So that'll put him on the outside of the front row for the start. And not a bad place to be, I don't think. What do you think about the lines we're going to see? Is the low line going to be the way to go all race long, or will people actually be able to find some speed a bit higher up the banking? I mean, that certainly seems like the case for these 1.5 mile ovals in typical NASCAR stock cars. I'm not sure if we'll see much difference out of these. I'm hoping we see some good door-to-door racing.
Yeah, I was watching these guys very closely in the 1 hour practice session, and I saw some very competitive and not too dodgy side by side action going into the corners. I think as we watch these guys wear down these tires, I think that bottom line is not going to become as favorable because I think you can keep a little bit of downforce and a little momentum. And my goodness, with this horsepower, if you can get any run coming off that banking onto the straight, I think some of these guys are going to prefer that top line. But David, I think what we're going to learn a lot is watching Babs Nation and Jordan Babcock run probably the first 20 minutes race and study what he's doing, because I think he's really going to set the pace and set the premium line for this race.
Giovanni Romano out on track now. Well, he's not the points leader, but he is your defending champion, and he puts his first lap time into the books, a 31.3. That moves him up into 21st place, critically ahead of Alex Albert, but he's got a couple more laps. So Giovanni Romano using the dying minutes of the session and maybe hoping for some cooler track temperatures than everyone had right at the start of the session. The sun is getting lower in the sky. I don't think waiting 5 minutes is going to help him awfully, but here he goes, sets a second lap. Is it an improvement? Yes, it is. That moves him up to 11th now. 2 more laps for Giovanni Romano. He's going to try and find as much speed as he can out of his flying purple Falcon.
Yeah, he really is. I'm just looking here to see. Yeah, you kind of mentioned some of our top 5 in points. Alex Cofford in not a very advantageous spot right now in P17. Thomas Ellison, I believe, is sitting out this week. John Patrick in P6. Giovanni Romano, we're watching him on track right now, really trying to put down some laps. There was another lap by him. I don't see that being an improvement.
Not an improvement, no. It was a 31.266 to his best of a 31.193.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't think some of these guys towards the back of the field are going to be too concerned, because this is going to be a race of attrition, and you just got to be really, really careful. So right now, I think Giovanni Romano and some of these other points leaders like Nate Franklin and Alex Cofford, David, they're a bit in a danger zone in the back of this field should there be a big moment early on in this race.
Yeah, certainly. Always got to look out for the big one in any race, particularly unruly, hard to drive cars like this on an oval. Romano improves again, puts himself onto 3rd place. So he'll be starting on the inside of the 2nd row. That's a good qualifying for Giovanni Romano. That's he went out there lap by lap, slowly improved the pace, and has found himself with top 3 speed for the number 99 car.
David, it looks like that is going to wrap up qualifying. So I'm going to let you run us down our top 10 as these guys are gridding tonight for our 1 hour race across Charlotte Motor Speedway.
And what a lovely little gridding procedure it is here at the updated Charlotte Motor Speedway. Almost like a little bit of a Le Mans start. All the cars started a 45-degree angle away from the inside of the track. Then they'll have to form up into their rows of 2. But on your front row on the inside, your pole sitter, Justin Lamans, congratulations to him on that. On the outside of row 1 in 2nd place, it's going to be Jordan Babcock. 3rd, as we mentioned, Giovanni Romano. 4th is going to be Alex Bueller. 5th is Austin Burdick. 6th, David Hall has put in a good qualifying here in this oval. 7th, John Patrick. 8th is Jeremy Rogers. 9th place is Dylan Blanton, and 10th goes to Stephen Sims.
Everybody keep an eye out for P11 tonight. Kyle Neverlift Smith, Shane Cameron in P12, Antonio Alvarez, who we always see as a Dick Insider hard charger of the race, starting in P13 tonight, Andrew Fawcett P14, and Nate Franklin in P15 with a 31.248, about full 2/10, which is a whole bunch of time from our pole position. P16, Philip Lynn and Alex Crawford. P17, Ryan Verhulst. P18, Brian Molitor. P19, Daniel Bartz, rounding out our top 20. Finishing out that bottom group, Chris Fleming, P21, Nicholas Harder, P22, Alex Albert, our points leader in P23. My goodness, he has a lot of work to do tonight. Devin Peters, P24, Harrison Chandler, P25 with no qualifying lap, and Justin Hall with no qualifying lap either in P26. David, so we'll keep an eye on those two if they do grid.
Indeed, we will. So timer elapses and all the cars that are parked so nicely going to shortly form up into the 2 rows. We'll get this rolling. I think Alexander Bueller was most keen to get going. One by one, they peel away. And I really like that. That's a nice little touch that they have to the gridding procedure here, rather than the cars just being placed somewhere on the backstretch or on the home stretch either. They've got to manually pull them away, like a little bit of a Le Mans start. I like it. But now everyone will form up behind the roof safety car on the oval, and we'll get ready for 1 hour of quite unique racing. Australian V8 supercars around Charlotte Oval. This is probably the most ill-considered culture clash since the one that created Outback Steakhouse, but here we go. I think the best thing we've got with these cars is headlights.
Yeah, this is pretty exciting to see. We don't often see the headlights out on these cars unless you're watching the Bathurst or something like that. So very exciting to see. David, a quick note before we start the race. I got a call from down in the pit lane. I did not know this. It is Babs Nation bobblehead night. So everyone in the stands, David, gets a Jordan Babcock Babs Nation bobblehead. So my goodness, this fans, I don't want to say it's swayed one way tonight, but wow, there's a whole bunch of bobbleheads out there supporting Babs Nation.
There will be a lineup to get those signed after the race, but the pace car has pulled in, and a great jump from the start there. Bueller and Babcock getting a good jump too. So away we go. Giovanni Romano still holding on to third place, and a little bit of contact in the background there. Who's that that's gotten a big door slam? John Patrick is losing spots.
Yeah, John Patrick got a big old door slam. I couldn't see who it was, David. Yeah, David Hall gave him a door slam, so unfortunately pushed him down very quick. Unfortunately, he's dropping like a rock. Not even a first lap done in this race.
Good thing that these cars can take a little bit of a hit and carry on. Up the front, Babcock leading, having taken the lead. From someone, and Romano running well. Bueller in third still. Big movers so far. Jeremy Rogers up 3 spots. He's just taken one away from Jeremy Hall. Andrew Fawcett finds himself in the fight of his life as well, nearly going 3 wide on the backstretch.
Yeah, I'm watching David Hall here. He is on that bottom line. And David, we talked about uncertainty of what line is going to be preferred. And it looks like that middle to high line right now is working the best, because I don't want to say it, but David Hall, I think he's stuck on the bottom, David, and that does not appear to be quick right now.
So here's my confusion. Justin Layman's appears to have not taken the start, which has elevated just about everyone one position. Our pole setter not appearing to take the start. So Jordan Babcock right into the lead of the race. Romano in second. Bueller holds on to third, but Austin Burdick is having a good run. The top 4 making a little bit of a breakaway, because Jeremy Rogers, Steven Sims, David Hall nearly going 3 wide across the stripe. From 5th on down, they are fighting ferociously in the early stages of this race. 2 minutes done, 58 still to go. We are going to see a lot of laps tonight.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we're continuing to watch David Hall just continue to drop down as this top line continues to work them really hard. Dylan Blanton, Steven Sims, and Jeremy Rogers have all worked their way past. And yeah, David, it looks like that middle to high line, right where that seam is, these guys are riding that, and that is working very, very strong for all of them. And also, I just want to do a quick call out to our points leader, Alex Albert. He is up 10 spots already in this race.
Yeah, fantastic run there. So, as you mentioned quite rightly, David Hall dropping down some spots. So he does appear pinned to that low side. Now has Kyle Smith who's put another position on him, and now Antonio Alvarez going to line him up as well. So plenty of positions gained from some guys moving up the field. David Hall now gets himself to what's probably the preferred line for him there. Second gap has formed from 4th place Austin Burdick to 5th place Jeremy Rogers. Rogers is going to have some tough work to try and close that back down.
Yeah, he really is. And yeah, just David Hall, I hate to focus on it here, but I think this is really a key talking point. And David, we got some action up front. The P3 continues to go 2 wide. Alexander Bueller and Austin Burdick, these guys do not want to give up with each other.
Jordan Babcock holding up the train a tiny bit, and it's putting Romano in a difficult position, and lets Alex Bueller try to put his nose towards the inside. In doing that, Burdick is going to try and go past him on the high line. So side by side, 3rd and 4th, and Burdick has the nose in front as they come into turns 3 and 4. Hey, can he get it done? He's trying with all his might. He wasn't quite clear for the turn-in point, and they continue side by side. There's a lapped car behind them. I think might be Harrison Chandler or Devin Peters, and I'm not sure. It might be Peters. So I think that's job done, though, from Austin Burdick. He's moved himself in front of Alexander Bueller, and by going around the outside, the slightly higher line's starting to work out, and it's also working out in 5th place for Steven Sims, who's now put the move on Jeremy Rogers, but can't make it stick.
Yeah, he's trying to make it stick. Steven Sims, it feels weird to say, but he is stuck on that bottom line right now. The number 58 of Jeremy Rogers, he's going to have the preferred line. Watch him get a really nice run here. They're going to be almost even dead entering turn 1. And watch Steven Sims. He really has to lift a whole bunch of lifting. I don't think he can get back. He can probably get on the gas about the same time. And just as I say that, David, he makes a pass. So Steven Sims, maybe he figured out the magic sauce to get past Jeremy Rogers there for P5.
Side by side for 2nd place up front as well. Austin Burdick very nearly. Austin Burdick is past Giovanni Romano. So Burdick moving up 2 spots from the start as well. He just got past Bueller, and now he's gotten past Romano as well. He's going to try and go around the outside of your leader. Great race pace from Austin Burdick right now, using that middle line near the seam, as you pointed out, to great effect. He's got a run at Babcock. Babcock goes low, and now Burdick will get his nose to the rear fender of Babcock around the outside. Pretty even through the corner. Burdick will hope to get good drive onto the front section of the track across the line, and he's properly side by side with the leader, side by side for the race lead. Babcock on the low line, Burdick up high, and I think Burdick has the momentum.
Yeah, he has a momentum, and I want to call out Burdick does have the fast lap of the race, which is a 30.78, David, which is almost 4/10 faster than the pole position. So Burdick is very quick now. That probably was with Drafto, and my goodness, we've gone side by side here with this front group.
Yeah, and the leaders going side by side has encouraged everyone behind to go too wide as well. So it's 2 by 2 for the lead at this point. Romano trying to hold the low line with Bueller on the high line. Bueller trying to gain another spot back. And now Austin Burdick puts his nose well and truly into the lead. Bueller might try and go around the high line of Babcock too. The battling for the leaders has let the cars behind catch up. Suddenly, Steven Sims, Jeremy Rogers are in the picture as well. This is anyone's game right now. And with just 12 laps in the books, a lot of these drivers will be figuring out, how do these Dunlop tires hold up on an oval? They are not designed for one. So it will be a little bit of a venture into the unknown. How do they wear? How quickly? And what advantage will someone get from pitting early?
Yeah, we are all watching that. And speaking of watching, this group of front 7, Dylan Blanton pulling up the caboose here. Right now, Kyle Smith, because of all that side-by-side action, there's a bit of a small group of Kyle Smith, David Hall, and Antonio Alvarez. These guys are gaining on this front group, who have fallen a bit more in line, a bit more controlled. But David, just as I say that, the positions 2 through 5, again, go side-by-side all the way down. Wow, they're really dicing here on the backstretch. And we're watching David Hall. Yeah, he's going to make a move on Kyle Smith, but he's going to take that non-preferred line. Let's see if he can make it stick. Kyle Smith slides up really high. Yeah, David, and David Hall's going to take that spot away from Kyle Smith, who has just really slid up the track. Great save by him.
Up front, Burdick has the lead, but side by side for 2nd place. Bueller now on the high line, nearly scrapes the wall, loses out heavily, so Babcock holds on to 2nd. Now 3 wide, Bueller, Sims, Babcock. Bueller manages to hold on to it. It's been a great run from Steven Sims. He was moving well into the top 4, lost out a little bit now, but of the pack that was from 5th on down, he's the one threatening your top 4 the most now. Steven Sims, a little bit of a new name to Reddit iRacing League, but having a great go of this combination, working out this car, getting his feet underneath him, maybe quicker than some other drivers.
Yeah, Steven Sims, very impressive drive. He started in P10 and quickly has moved his way up 6 spots, really having a fantastic battle with Giovanni Armando, holding very strong on that P4. As we watch Jeremy Rogers coming up on Steve Sims here. But man, this battle between Austin Burdick and Jordan Babcock of Babs Nation. These guys have not let up. And David, typically side-by-side racing is going to slow down a bit, but these guys have seemed to have figured it out. And Babs Nation, I believe, is the only one to really figure out that bottom line. He is making it work very, very well. And Austin Burdick, I'm going to say, is the preferred line, is holding very strong. As you see, Jordan Babcock, a little slide move, and regains his top position.
So your top 5, Babcock, Burdick, Bueller, Sims, and Rogers. And Sims in 4th is trying to have a look at Bueller. Babcock's done very well on the low line to get back to the lead. So we'll see how the preferred lines change as we get into a stint. Full course cautions should be on, but we haven't seen any yet. If we get one later in the race, that could really shake up the pit strategy. So Sims still trying to go around the outside of Bueller. Hasn't worked this time. Back in the pack, Giovanni Romano has been shuffled all the way back into 6th place. So struggles for him as Jeremy Rogers is going to put his nose through the inside and get past Romano.
David, I'm going to ask our producer to stay on the battle up here, but I'm going to do a quick call out to our points leader. Alex Albert remains in P11, starting in P23. He's up 20, or excuse me, not 23 spots. He's up 12 spots and is currently hunting down Kyle Smith. David, who is just dealing with a very mad push. And yeah, Alex Albert is going to pass Kyle Smith to gain 1 more spot. So Kyle Smith having a very difficult time with that car pushing right in the middle of the corner. And Alex Albert, much like Jordan Babcock of Babs Nation, is making that bottom line work.
Huge wiggle for Austin Burdick, loses a lot of his momentum on the high line, and then Bueller comes through low. Sims in 4th, thinks about it, he'll go low as well. So the rear tires on the last phase of the corner, giving up on the throttle with Austin Burdick. Kind of feels like what happens in the IndyCar sometimes, potentially. So the tires starting to wear down, and of course they will on a banked oval, the speeds like we're seeing in a car with this much weight behind it.
Yeah, there's not a lot of weight in the back of that car, but fuel, and as the fuel goes down, that spoiler is very unassuming. That wing is very unassuming. It's about as effective as putting a yardstick on the back of your car. So there's not getting a whole lot of assistance from that rear wing there. But yeah, David, we're seeing some tire wear and a bit of some sketchy moments. And I want to call it to Alexander Bueller. He is a man who really enjoys a very loose car. So right now, him hunting Jordan Babcock is something we need to watch out for, because I think as this car gets looser, I see Alexander Bueller maybe being a little stronger driver.
Yeah, that's your battle for 1st and 2nd. Sims has gotten through into 3rd, so great guns. He's up, I think, effectively 6 spots from where he started. 7 on the timing screen, but with Lehman's not taking the start, everyone got a free position. And the pole sitters, wait, big contact. That must be Rogers, who slammed into the outside wall, I think, gotten very sideways. And our first caution is out. Jeremy Rogers dropping down the timing screen. Big issues for him. So with 12 minutes into the race, who will pit? I'm not sure. I expect just about everyone will.
Yeah, David, that was a very, very strange incident. He was side by side with a lap car, Devin Peters, and I hate to say, but that was a netcode issue, David. On my screen, they had it about a foot in between them, and his car just shot up in the air, and that was a situation where he just could not save that. So yeah, let's keep an eye on some pit strategy right now, as that is really going to play out. But fine racing, boys. Almost 15 minutes in this race, no caution. So I think everybody's going to take a nice breather and potentially look at a down pit lane, maybe some fuel, maybe definitely some tires.
This is certainly not race over for Jeremy Rogers, because he's held on to it in 11th place once the caution came out. He'll probably come into the pits and he'll be able to get that thing fixed up right quick. He'll come out in 11th place and carry on. So we're going to see shortly who's going to dive for the pit lane. And like I thought, it's just about everyone. Devin Peters stays out, but everyone on your lead lap follows Jordan Babcock into the pit lane. It's going to be very, very busy down there in pit road right now. Where's Shay Adam when you need her?
for sure. So let's watch these pit stops. I believe everybody is going to be pretty smart on fuel and not be too careless. But yeah, Devin Peters is trying to give himself pretty much a lucky dog, and hopefully he can get himself around this track as much as he can, David. So yeah, I'm watching some pit times here. Everybody's working through, no big jumpers right now, but let's watch as these guys get filled, get some tires swapped, and who is the big winner leaving pit road.
That pit exit's going to be an interesting one to watch. I think Jordan Babcock has held on to the lead of this race. Bueller, it looks like he's grabbed position behind that, and Romano might have gotten himself up some positions if he can stay ahead of Dylan Blanton there. Your only car on the lead lap to have stayed out is Steven Sims, and so interesting whatever has occurred there for Steven Sims. I'm seeing him as having driven through pit lane, not taken any service. So bizarre. He leads this race at this point. He's probably on the restart going to be absolutely swallowed up. Having a look at the lap times, they were, before the caution came out, they were driving about a second a lap slower than they did at the start of the race. So the tyres have dropped off quite significantly. Steven Sims, you assume, will be a sitting duck on the restart. Your order of the cars that did take tyres into this caution is Babcock, Bueller, Romano, Blanton, and Burdick, and now Steven Sims comes into the pit road. So don't know, was he trying to get a lap back there? Whatever's gone on, Steven Sims gonna come into the pits this time. And Jordan Babcock will lead the field to the restart with no one in front of him.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused by that strategy call as well, and thank goodness he pit, because wow, we were in for a very dodgy show for the rest of these cars behind them, full of fuel and full of some very fresh tires, and Sims was going to be probably a second and a half off on lap. David, I'm taking a quick look at the pit lane times, and in terms of stop, it looks like Giovanni Romano, his team has been doing some off-season training, because my goodness, he blew everyone away by almost 5/10 of the pit lane with a 16.7 second stop. That is some very quick work.
Yeah, maybe he was able to save a bit of fuel while he was going down the order from the start of the race. Who knows? Maybe he just hit his box perfectly. Good entry, good exit. Regardless, that's gotten him some positions. A big winner on pit road, as you pointed out. Finds himself in third, which is where he qualified. Other huge winners in it, Dylan Blanton's up 5 positions, and Alex Albert has come out of pit road in 7th place. So a man on a charge in the race right now. He can make up some spots from 7th, no doubt.
Yeah, indeed. I'm going to do a quick rundown again, David. Points are very important here. So Alex Albert, our points leader, is currently in P7. He's gained a whole boatload of positions. Giovanni Romano, our second in points, he's currently in 3rd. So these guys are, Alex Albert definitely hunting down Giovanni Romano. John Patrick is working his way up as well. He's currently in P12, not having the best race. He's down 5 spots, and running out of top 5 is Alex Cofford, who is also a bit of a recovery drive tonight. He's currently in P13, starting in P17, so nothing too impressive. But as we just saw from that caution, David, it just takes one big moment for everybody to seek out some opportunity, and also very important to avoid that wreck. So we've still got 43 minutes left of racing, so our top 5 group a bit spread out, but that doesn't mean that they won't find each other later on in this race.
Indeed, no one's going to be able to go to the end on fuel from here if it stays green. So either we're going to see some green flag stops, or we'll see another yellow at some point. I was surprised how deep into that first run the pack all stayed together. I didn't think the slipstream and the draft was going to be that strong. Thought the tyres wearing out would space everyone further out, but if anything, as the tyres wore down, we got more side-by-side 2-wide action. So this is a pretty successful combo from what we've seen of the green flag racing so far. Pace car will pull in this time and we'll get a restart. We'll get them going again. Be interesting to watch how that one plays out off the start with fresh tyres and a single file restart. Jordan Babcock goes. We are racing once again for Reddit iRacing League at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah, that top 5 group gets a very good run. Unfortunately, David Hall and the group behind there just kind of got left behind. Austin Burdick, Dylan Blanton, Giovanni Romano, Alexander Bueller, and our leader, Jordan Babcock, all were on the same page. David Hall just kind of got left behind. We already have Austin Burdick going side by side with Dylan Blanton. No, he's going to pull in before NASCAR 3.
It's the big jump from Babcock, slowly being erased. Bueller in second, running well. But Blanton and Burdick battling each other for 4th position. Burdick is to the inside. Blanton trying to go around the outside. I think on fresh tyres, Burdick has got that done on the inside. So he gains a spot there. Further back, Hall and Albert fighting, and Albert is trying to move up another spot. He's been separated a bit from the lead by a bit of a sleeping on the restart, David Hall. They can definitely catch back up to the lead pack, no doubt. Babcock holds 0.4 of a second lead still. That'll slowly get eroded, you would think, but he did get a monster of a restart.
Yeah, an absolute monster of a restart. And David, it couldn't be a better night for bobblehead night for Babs Nation, because he is looking very, very strong out there. And my goodness, is he quick on fresh tires. He's currently doing 30.996. That last lap was Jordan Babcock's fastest lap, so he is very, very quick right now. And we are watching, yeah, it looks like Dylan Blanton is on the high side, and on the inside there is that Dylan Blanton's on the inside of Austin Burdick. These two are going to go side by side again into NASCAR 1.
This time Burdick on the high side, Blanton down low, and on fresh tires I think the low line can work as they wear out. High line gets more momentum. Burdick, though, keeps his nose in front, but this battling has let Hall and Albert close right back up. Hall is there, Albert is there in the blue machine, taking a bit of a lower line through 3 and 4. And a bit of a gap further back from Alvarez to Kyle Smith. So the top 8 almost forming a bit of a breakaway, and Alvarez is only just in touch with that as well.
Yeah, we haven't really seen too many people make that bottom line work like Jordan Babcock has, but Alex Albert is definitely doing that as well. He's fallen a bit off of David Hall. He was extremely quick and right on his bumper for about 2 laps outside of the restart there. I think he's fallen back just a little. We're seeing a bit of tire wear, maybe not as much of a sense of urgency to make that pass as Alex was looking for here. So this top group here, the 1 through 6, they're all very, very tight. Alex Albert falling back a little bit, but I would not be concerned as the draft here is very favorable. As you watch Austin Burdick go very high, sliding almost up into the wall. But Giovanni Mano, he's given a side-by-side look at an NASCAR 3.
Yeah, Burdick has been punishing his right rear tire. It lets Blanton have a little bit of an opportunity. And threatening Romano now is Burdick. So that's basically side by side for 3rd place. And Dylan Blanton with the popcorn position behind. David Hall will throw his nose down to the inside on Blanton. So now it's 2 wide, 2 deep. 3rd through to 6th. Bueller going to threaten for the lead as well. They fall single file back on the back stretch. They'll go side by side once again into turns 3 and 4. Blanton with his nose to the inside of Burdick. Great battling, and they're packed up once again as we've gotten deeper into the stint. We see more 2 wide racing.
Yeah, let's keep it on the lead here. I just saw Jordan Babcock, Babs Nation. He clipped the apron exiting NASCAR 2. Alexander Buick got a very, very good run. I want to say he has the preferred line, but Jordan Babcock has proved me wrong this entire race. He's very, very good at that bottom sector. So right now, it remains Jordan Babcock, our leader, but Alexander Bueller is looking hungry. Jordan Babcock has got to be careful with that apron. These cars are not going to be as forgiving as a NASCAR with the setup. So be very careful with that bottom apron as you watch Giovanni Mano get a very nice run off of NASCAR 1 and 2 and fall right in line behind Alexander Bueller.
Albert Lowe trying to make some moves on Austin Burdick. He's already passed David Hall. Now he's trying to see if his lower line can work on Austin Burdick. Great racing. Your top pack closer than they've ever been. They've really closed up since the restart. Babcock leading the train, but it looks like being the leader is not actually the preferred position. This is pack oval racing, almost like you see at a Daytona or Talladega, but here on a 1.5 mile oval in these cars. They're 3 wide. Burdick, Blanton, and Albert on the inside. And Albert, I think, will lose out a little bit there, but he might just swallow up Blanton. Great racing in your top 8, and the battling has allowed Alvarez to really close up to them. Well, not hurt by the fact that 9th and 10th place Smith and Franklin battling 2 wide. This is producing great racing, plenty of places to look.
Yeah, there are so many great battles on track, but I just cannot leave this very crazy, crazy pack that we have up here. And it looks like, yeah, Antonio Alvarez and Dylan Blanton, they're team Paintskin here. So these guys are looking for opportunity. Going to be some very respectful driving between these two. But Alex Albert is not being very respectful with some very aggressive moves, David. He is looking to move up. He did clip the apron right there, but he is right on the inside of Giovanni Mono, and he wants that P3 spot, David. He is up 18 positions so far in this race.
Mega run, still holding that inside of Austin Burdick. Romano just clear, just safe for the moment. Romano's going to try and go around Alex Bueller for second place. Bueller using some of the infield because he's boxed in behind Jordan Babcock with nowhere to take his momentum with Romano on his high side. So those two go too wide. Now Alex Albert in fourth place has to size up his options. Romano will just, at least for the moment, have his nose in front of Bueller, nearly a little bit of contact as Bueller slides up, but they both hold it. Now it's too wide, too deep for second place through to fifth.
Yeah, it is wild, and Jordan Babcock has got to be looking in his rearview mirror as, my goodness, he has 2x2 full cars, all running very, very quick times. As we said, these cars going too wide of these corners. A big block move by Jordan Babcock, blocking Bueller. But David, we may have some 3 wide going into NASCAR 3 here. We do. We've got Alex Giovanni on the outside, Alexander Bueller on the middle, and Jordan Babcock holds it, slides up, cuts off Alexander Bueller to carry the lead for one more lap. But David, I just don't know how much longer he's going to have it, because Bueller is looking very racy, and this pack behind him is hungry.
Yeah, very, very close racing. Babcock still holding the inside. Someone with a blown motor down on the apron, but that won't trigger a caution if they stay down there. Bueller's going to try to take the lead. Big run from Romano in the third position around the outside of Alex Albert. Your points leaders door to door for third place. And behind that, Austin Burdick still fending off David Hall, who now gets, I think, passed by Dylan Blanton with matching paint scheme to Antonio Alvarez. Bit of a Castrol livery there. Bueller trying to go round the outside of Alex Albert. Albert trying to take second place away. Jordan Babcock, most laps led at this point of the race, you would say. He's having a good run, holding everyone off. Bueller chops down on Albert. Romano now has an opportunity to try and go around the outside. Great racing from your top 8. Babcock still leads. Bueller scored second that time by. Albert scored third, but Romano has a good opportunity around the outside in fourth. As Burdick and Hall battle behind that.
Yeah, I'm starting to watch some of these inside drivers, and I'm riding along with Giovanni Romano here, falling behind Alexander Bueller on that top line. We're hearing tons of marbles being thrown up as these guys are racing around the track. But watch Alex Albert, as soon as he gets on the flat part of that track, David, and that banking goes away, Alex Albert is having a saw on that wheel a little bit. This car is getting very, very loose with that right rear tire. These guys are on about 20 minutes of a green lap, and these tires are definitely going away. So we're watching Jordan Babcock very aggressive on the blocking again, David, but these right rear tires are getting hot, and Alex Albert is really showcasing that, having to really saw on the wheel on corner exit.
Jordan Babcock, these cars, unlike your NASCAR stock car, have brake lights. So I saw those brake lights for Jordan Babcock down low in 3 and 4, and Bueller's going to try and go around the outside. Albert will try and give him a little bit of a bump draft. Is this lead for Jordan Babcock? Is his reign going to end? Ask your bobblehead, give it a shake and see. Side by side for the race lead. Bueller has the overspeed, but he's going to have to go around the outside. Babcock has looked good on the low side. Now Albert in third has to pick and choose which way he's going to go. He's going to try and set up a run on your leaders. Side by side, David Hall is going to try and take a spot away from Giovanni Romano. And Antonio Alvarez, I think he's the cleverest of the lot, just riding along in 8th position, picking and choosing his lines.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to call that out myself. He's probably quite enjoying the show up here. He's like realizing he doesn't have to work that hard in order to catch
Bueller
these guys.
has the lead. Bueller swept around the outside of Jordan Babcock to take the race lead away. Babs Nation, don't leave your seats just yet, though. Albert in third is thinking what he can do. Then Hall, Burdick, Romano, Blanton, and as we called out, Alvarez just waiting. Babcock to the low line, trying to find some room, almost 3 wide. Can't get good drive off the corner though. Bueller holds on to the lead. Great run for Albert. He's going to swoop around the outside into 3 and 4 as well. Babcock just holds it there, but Albert has the momentum. So 2 positions lost for Babcock. Bueller holds the lead, and now Albert has his best opportunity at getting to the race lead from starting in 22nd position on the grid.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but yeah, these cars are 24 laps fresh on their stint, and it looks like that bottom line, in terms of being the fastest line, has expired. So, David, it looks like right about 20 laps, these tires could no longer produce a fast lap on that bottom line. But just as I say that, we watch Alex Albert dive inside Alexander Bureau, hoping to make that stick. And we watch Austin Burdick get very, very loose, almost clip the wall. David, he's going to lose one position. He potentially could lose another one to Giovanni Romano. No, he's going to salvage it as we watch the leaders go side by side.
I think Burdick did cause some sparks on the wall on the outside of turn 4. Holds on to it, but he lost his momentum. That car, I'm sure, will carry on just fine. We make him tough down here, but nearly gonna be 3 wide for the race lead. Babcock trying to get a position back on Albert. Has to lift out of the throttle so that there's not contact. This gives David Hall a great run. He's gonna have to go around the outside on the home stretch. And he's got great momentum there. Albert will throw it to the inside of Bueller into 1 and 2. So that's 2 wide for positions 1 and 2, 2 wide for positions 3 and 4. Dylan Blanton's had a good run in 5th, taking advantage of that contact from Burdick. So he's right up in the frame as well for 3rd position. Still 2 wide for the lead of the race. Albert has made positions down low when other people couldn't in this race. But with the tyres as shot as they are, you'd trust Bueller to get a good run on the high line. Those two are almost breaking away from Babcock, who appears to have worn out his tyres in the early stages.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the fuel situation is with these cars, but I think these guys are really beginning to watch some tire management to making sure that they're not getting these things too hot and potentially making a bad strategic decision. As we watch Austin Burdick almost slam into the back of David Hall right there. But man, I am very impressed with what Alexander Bueller is doing on that top line. As we watch Alex Alberts really slide up coming into the triangle. He's going to test Alexander Bueller again on the high side. So I think the beneficiary of this is probably Jordan Babcock, letting him cool his tires a little bit, maybe cool down inside the helmet. So very, very smart jumping by Jordan Babcock. Is right now Alexander Bueller and Alex Albert, they are giving no rest to these very, very 28 lap worn tires.
The sun has set even further from the start of the race here in Charlotte, and what that means is it got a tiny bit darker out there. Now, of course, we've still got track lights, but even from my blimp view here, I can see when those brake lights come on into turns 1 and 3 for quite a few of our competitors. Using the brakes to slow the car, help the car turn. A lot of those tires getting very, very worn out because I wasn't seeing any brake lights on brand new tires. These guys now going 30 laps into their stint. Riding on board will give you a great view of that.
Yeah, it's so interesting to watch what these guys do. I would love to see some throttle position metrics on some of these, or even some footwork going on. I can't imagine that some of these guys aren't just hitting the brake, tapping the brake, because they have got to make this front of that car plant. And we're watching Dylan Blanton really struggle on the outside there. Yeah, he's going to lose 1 spot to Austin Burdick, who's making the pass, and he may get sucked up by David Hall as well. So yeah, Dylan Blanton, very bad exit of NASCAR too.
Interesting to see the dynamics change as the tires have worn out. On fresh tires, we were single file, and then we went 2 wide everywhere, and now we're back to a lot more single file. Bueller, Albert, and Babcock in your top 3. At this point, if the race runs green to the end from here, we're going to see some green flag stops. That's going to have to start entering the mind of some of these drivers, surely, because you don't want to make a green flag stop if there is then a caution. But if we are going to have to make green flag stops, surely you'd want to make the undercut at some point. The strategy brain's going to be ticking, ticking, ticking on the box for all of these drivers. To say that, we're going back to 2 wide because Babcock making moves once again. He must have cooled off those tires, puts his nose into 2nd place. Can he hold that on Alex Albert? I think all of this is to the benefit of Alex Bueller, who's going to pull out more lead than he's ever enjoyed so far.
Yeah, this is a monstrous 0.3 of a second lead for Alexander Buell. I think that's the biggest we've really seen for anybody in this race. But yeah, I think Jordan Babcock had played it smart for probably about 4 or 5 laps there, keeping those tires nice and cool. I am really watching David, I'm really watching P6 Austin Burdick. I think he is the barometer for how much these tires are struggling out there. David, he is getting very, very loose on corner exit, especially NASCAR 3 and 4. He's really falling back right now. So I would not be surprised if we start seeing some green flag stops coming very soon, because I think there's some very tired rubber on track right now with these cars.
Really quickly show some love a little bit further down the field. There's been a great pack, 9th through to 12th. Steven Sims leads that one right now. He's got Jeremy Rogers trying to go around the outside of him, John Patrick and Nate Franklin in that one as well. Those guys are 3 or 4 seconds down the road from your leaders, but well and truly on the lead lap and doing relatively similar pace. Anyone from there who pitted, took on a set of fresh tires, could challenge to be in the top pack later on. Then 13th and 14th is Ryan Verhulst and Kyle Smith trading places. We've got some little packs further down that have formed up, but your top 8, that's where it's at, as Bueller and Albert are swapping positions for the lead.
Yeah, they're swap positions for the lead, and Alex Albert, I don't know if he can hold it. No, Bueller's going to get a better moment. Alex Albert is looking to gain 22 spots if he can grab that P1 position, because my goodness, has he had a very, very hard charge and a very impressive drive tonight. But Alexander Bueller is going to keep on that spot, and Jordan Babcock, I believe he's going to have the preferred line with these very worn tires right now, so we're going to keep an eye on those lap times, as Alex Albert, he's really shown us that that bottom line can work. But I think Jordan Babcock has moved his way up there. Either that was intentional or unintentional. We'll see. Oh, he's going to get pinched. Oh my goodness, that was a very tense moment, as Alex Albert almost pinched Alex Albert almost pinched Jordan Babcock exiting NASCAR 2.
Word about those lap times. Our best lap was a 30.7 from Austin Burdick, but last time around he could only manage a 31.8. The tires have dropped off 1.1 seconds per lap, and they are not looking like they are getting any better. So Bueller leads, Albert second, Babcock third. 4th place, Dylan Blanton doing a great job. David Hall is side by side for 5th place with Austin Burdick. And then Romano in 7th right there. And Alvarez on the train as well, and they've picked up a lap car. Who was that? Might be Alex Coffard riding with them. For the lead though, Albert gets a good run, can't do anything about it. Your top 4, Blanton also got a great run, couldn't do anything about it either. So forming up into single file for the moment, your top 8. Yeah, Kyle Smith in the pits.
Yeah, I think this may be the beginning of some new pit stops. Kyle Smith not having a bad race. He's been very consistent inside the top 12, so this is going to be an opportunity for him. Put some fresh tires on it with only 23 minutes left in this race. So I hope these guys are up on their microphones. If they're going to call a pit stop, they've got to let this pack know, David, because these guys try and make a pit without admitting. Some of these guys know we could put ourselves in a very dangerous situation diving down to the pits, because braking and lifting early to enter that pit and make that safe pit slope speed is going to require some very early braking.
This is a huge risk from Smith. He's going to drop well off the lead lap, but he's going to have the freshest tires. If it stays green to the end, this could be inspired from Smith. If a caution comes out now, his race is basically over. Now 2 laps off the lead lap. He needs to take on a lot of fuel. It's a 40-second stop for Neville Lift Smith. Big gamble that he's taken. I'm hoping it does pay off for him, but we'll have to wait and see. Will this race stay green until the end?
I'm not sure, but right now we are seeing Jordan Babcock of Babs Nation. Those bobbleheads are being clacked in the air as he's making a move to the inside. I don't know if he can get the job done, as Bueller will have a better run off of the corner, but Babs Nation has made another effort to potentially make that inside line work, and I just don't know if he can make it stick. But my goodness, does he make it look good? He's going to slide up, and no, David, he's gonna stay there. So Alex Albert is in the catbird seat right now, making sure that these boys behave themselves. You got to be careful. Yeah, see, you watch Jordan Beck, he gets a better entry on the corner, but just cannot get the power down. soon enough. Watch a little wiggle off of Bueller and exiting NASCAR 4.
Great battling continues, and they get very close fender to fender. Bueller leads. Babcock trying to hold low into second place. Good speed around the outside for Albert. Can he convert it into power down off the corner? Not quite. I'm seeing brake lights just about every time, and that looks like Alex Bueller, your leader, going for the pit lane. Again, very, very risky move, but from the lead of the race, it's dived down onto the apron very early to make sure he gets well and truly out of everyone's way. Going for the pits is Alexander Bueller as well. Having a look, last lap for Kyle Smith, 31.6. That's not good enough. He's going to need to pick that up if he's going to undercut anyone. He's only going a couple tenths faster than the guys on old tires. 31.3 he puts in now. That's looking more like it. That's looking like 7 tenths faster than everyone else. The undercut for Kyle Smith is what he's going for, and a huge gamble from Bueller as well. Will we see other leaders come into the pits? How long will they stay out?
Yeah, Dave, we have a whole slew of people coming in. Jordan Babcock with a picture-perfect pit entry, stayed up on the banking, broke it all the way down. I think Jordan Babcock had a fantastic pit entry. We got Austin Burdick in the pits right now, David Hall, and Babs Nation. So, and it looks like Bueller is just now leaving, David. So we're going to check out, keep an eye on these pit times because this is the time to do it, it looks like.
We went green with about 45 minutes left in the race. This might be actually getting to as far as some of these guys can go on fuel. We know they were never going to make it to the end from there. These are pretty thirsty cars. See some more drivers on the pits as well. Rogers as well. So pit time busy. Green flag stops. We'll see if Kyle Smith has managed any kind of undercut on anyone. Leaders get going. Babcock holds on to the lead ahead of some of those other cars coming out of the pits. It's a very, very interesting strategy play. It's going to have to wait and see how this shakes out. Will this pack undercut Alex Albert, Dylan Blanton, and Giovanni Romano, or will there be a caution that benefits those who stayed out? Which way are you going to take it in this Vegas game?
Yeah, it really looks like I'm not entirely sure how these guys are going to play out because right now Dylan Blanton and Alex Albert, they are on track, but they are not alone. There are quite a few other cars in here with, Alex Albert is now diving in, our leader of the race.
Very, very interesting. From taking that stop earlier, Alexander Bueller has come out well and truly ahead of Jordan Babcock. Bueller 21 seconds stationary for fuel and tires. Babcock 26 seconds in the lane. JP took 22. David Hall took 27. We'll wait and see. Did Alexander Bueller take enough fuel? If yes, his early pit stop and precision on the fueling has gotten him plenty of clear track ahead of Babcock. So Albert on the lane now. Verhulst in. Blanton, Romano, Alvarez still out. But other than that, we've seen a second pit stop, a green flag stop from most of the field now.
Yeah, it looks like, everybody all the way down to P6. Chris Feldman is our final car in that top group that is not pitted, but he has now been passed by Daniel Bartz, who has done 2 pit stops, but Bartz is also 47 laps on that second stop, so I wouldn't exactly call that an opportunity.
And we get a yellow. We get a caution. This is huge because Dylan Blanton, Giovanni Romano, and Antonio Alvarez are 2 laps ahead of Bueller, Albert, Babcock, Patrick Hall, and Franklin. This is huge. What's gone and caused that?
Yeah, I'm watching right now. Car number 16, Philip Linden on the outside of Kyle Smith. It looks like, David, Philip Linden just gave Kyle Smith a bump. It looks like Kyle Smith just wasn't ready for it. I wouldn't say that was unnecessary, but I just think Kyle Smith's not ready for that bump. Philip Linden may have got him a bit too heavy, but Kyle Smith, Philip Linden, bringing out that caution. Philip Linden looks to be the biggest loser with a very hard hit on the inside wall of the backstretch.
And wow, so this shakes up the race massively. I'm looking at the lap counts right now, and I think Blanton, Alvarez, and Romano may only be 1 lap clear of Bueller, Albert, Babcock, and your other leaders who did pit. If that's the case, and they follow around this time, they may we'll see who does and doesn't get a lap back. Because if a few cars have been split one lap clear of the rest of the pack, that is huge.
Yeah, that is definitely huge. So we're gonna watch some of these guys that have not pit. They're basically getting a free pit stop right now. They are going to
Bueller
be.
getting a wave around right now. Is there only one lucky dog, or will the whole pack off the lead lap get waved around?
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that because right now I think that is going to put. Yeah, Chris Fleming is showing as the leader of this race, but he is currently stationary on the pit. So right now, yeah, timing is coming through. So Dylan Blanton is now showing as the leader of this race.
Yeah, correct. I think we'll only see one car waved around, and that is going to be Alex Bueller. So we'll see at the end of this caution what happens. But right now, it's Dylan Blanton, Giovanni Romano, Antonio Alvarez, Alex Bueller, Brian Molitor, and Christopher Flamian, one lap clear of the rest of the field. In cars that are one lap down, it's Alex Albert ahead of Babcock, Patrick, Hall, Franklin, Bartz, Burdick, and the like. And I wonder, of the cars we've seen that had already pitted, which ones will come onto the lane again for a fresh set of tyres? I'm seeing Fawcett and Smith on the lane, rest staying out. Alexander Bueller coming into the lane again, though.
Yeah, David, I can't imagine a more awkward time for a caution to come out. As yeah, a lot of these guys had just finished their stop, and watching Alexander Bueller, who was almost 8 laps into his stint after that first pit, I think he's seeing some opportunity right now. These guys are probably going to go green with about 12 minutes left in this race, maybe 13 minutes left. So tons of racing to go, but we are going to very quickly approach that shelf or that fall off point with these tires about 20 laps. These cars get a bit scary, so gonna have to see what's gonna happen here. But yeah, Dylan Blanton, Giovanni Romano, Antonio Alvarez, Brian Malter, and Chris Flamian are currently showing our top 5, who really haven't said much of this group for the majority of the race.
It was damned if you do, damned if you don't, wasn't it, though? Because if you stayed out and we'd gone green to the end, you would have been toast. If you came in and we got a caution, well, we've seen that has massively disadvantaged 7th place on down, who are now 1 lap out of step with our top 6. We saw it with Kyle Smith when he came in. He went 2 laps off the lead at that point, and we knew that taking a green flag stop was always going to be a risky maneuver, and there's a few drivers it has not paid off for. Giovanni Romano's gamble to stay out puts him 1 lap clear of his championship rival, Alex Albert. This is huge. We're still behind the caution, still behind the safety car. So Dylan Blanton scored as race leader. Wave buys being given now.
Yeah, wave buys going now, David. It looks like pretty much the entire majority of the field is going to reshuffle, and everybody's going to be on equal footing when they all get waved around. Now, again, we're going to watch this field settle back up. So as we are seeing timing on our screen, that will soon be revealed on track as well. So right now, as I said, Dylan Blanton, Giovanni Romano, Antonio Alvarez, Brian Malter, and Chris Flamin are our top group, and all these guys all pitted during that caution to have fresh tires. Everybody from P8 down, David, did a green flag stop. So that was our pretty much leader of the race. George Babcock and Babs Nation held on that whole time. Alex Albert is as well. Alex Albert is going to be the youngest tires of that group in P7, only 5 laps on those tires. So I don't know how this is going to shake out. That group from 8th down is very quick, but right now this top group is going to have the freshest rubber. David, this is going to be a very exciting final 11 to 10 or 10 to 11 minutes of this race.
Lights out on the pace car. What this means is that the drivers that stayed out still advantaged because they're at the front of the pack, but not advantaged to the tune of a whole lap. Dylan Blanton plants the throttle now, and we get racing. 12 minutes to go Looks like maybe that'll be 25 laps or so, 20 laps or so. We'll see Dylan Blanton leads them away from Giovanni Romano, who has a little bit of a wiggle on the restart. What can anyone else in the field do? We are racing, and Alex Albert, huge jump. Alexander Bueller dropping down the timing screen.
Yeah, David, I'm trying to figure out what happened. He may have gotten a black flag for passing on the inside. I'm watching his restart. I'm not entirely sure what happened. I imagine he may have had a hardware issue, Dave, because, yeah, he's had no issue on the start of this race. He was in line. He did everything he was supposed to do. I'm not sure what's going on with Alexander Bueller.
Caution's out again. Caution is out once again. That would be for Steven Sims and Jeremy Rogers, potentially. I see Jeremy Rogers dropping down the timing screen. We've had an issue on the restart. We'll try and find where that's happened.
Wow, David, this is a big one back here. We got all sorts of cars all over the place. Looks like this is up to an 8-car incident. Looks like it all started right on the tri-oval.
Lots of cars involved with that. I think Austin Burdick, Jeremy Rogers, Daniel Bartz, Nate Franklin, Ryan Verhulst potentially. Plenty of cars involved in that one, and we see our third caution of the race. We had a huge stint of green flag running between our first and second cautions, but yellows breed yellows, don't they just?
Yeah, they definitely do. Oh, and unfortunately, I just watched Nate Franklin just trying to make it back to his pit spot. Just blew the motor coming across start-finish. So, unfortunately, Nate Franklin's night is going to be done. Looks like a lot of these guys are really going to take advantage of this, David. The whole middle pack of this field that we were really enjoying watching. These guys are really getting split up now, but this is also going to not disturb our top group too much. Alex Albert tried to make a big jump, but Alex Albert's still in P6. But yeah, let's see if these guys can straighten out, and potentially some of the back guys, why not take another stop, David, get some fresh tires and see what happens.
Yeah, if you're back of the train, you've got nothing to lose from going down pit road right now, putting on some fresh Dunlops. So not a whole lot of change at the front of the field from that caution period. The very short amount of green flag running that we did get. Dylan Blanton still holds the lead from Giovanni Romano. Antonio Alvarez sitting very nicely in third place ahead of Brian Molitor, who was a big winner of the earlier caution. Christopher Flamion as well. Alex Albert in sixth. And of course, Alex Bueller lost plenty of spots on that restart, just pulling down onto the apron right at the green flag. Not sure what's going on there. Don't see him out on track again. I think he's retired that car.
Yeah, I really worry that is a hardware issue. We've seen him race very, very strong this season on the races he's been able to participate, but this is not the first time we've seen him with a hardware issue, so we hate to see that. He is such a strong driver, and man, he's been very strong in this race, challenging Jordan Babcock, challenging Alex Albert for many, many laps in this race. Difficult to see him check in like that. But David, I'm doing a quick look on our timing screen. It looks like Ryan Verhulst, who has taken 3 stops this race, is going to be our highest 3-stopper, followed by Jeremy Rogers in P12. So we do have some 3-stoppers out there. Jeremy Rogers looks like to be a genuine 3-stop. There's no laps on those tires, so he's going to be very, very quick out there in P12. But these guys are going to run out of time. I don't know how many spots Jeremy Rogers can make. Well, these guys are going to go green with probably about 6 minutes left, which is going to give them probably about 5 laps of green flag racing. But plenty of opportunity with this front group. Is again, that open group is about 7 laps on tires versus Jordan Babcock, David Hall 12 laps, and Alex Albert just 10 laps in. So I say it's pretty much an even field right now. They've got these tires cooled off on a very cool track, only 82 degrees. It's going to be an exciting final session here if we can stay green.
No doubt. 8 minutes left on the clock. Lights out on the pace car, are they? I think we will be going green this time. Indeed, they are. Lights are out. Are they? No, they're not. Excuse my eyes. So we will have quite a bit more time, at least 1.5 more laps around the circuit behind that pace car. It will be an absolute blast to the checkered flag if we stay green. Maybe only 6 minutes or so of green flag racing. If you're Dylan Blanton, you'd be happy for the lights to stay on that pace car forever. If you're Alex Albert, you want to get racing as soon as possible so you can move up the order.
Yeah, you really do, and big kudos to Alex Albert on that restart. He passed a car on the outside at the start finish and made another quick pass just shortly after start finish. So very good restart for Alex Albert. I'm gonna keep it on. Excuse me. I'm going to keep an eye on Jordan Babcock on his restarts. He's been as the leader, has had very strong restarts, but it's a whole different ballgame when you're inside the pack of what those restarts look like. And David, I think the pace car just crossed. Did our lights go out now? Do you have your glasses on?
Yeah, they did. Sorry for jumping the gun, but this time the lights go out on the pace car. It will be going green next time by. Really shuffled up the order in the lower mid-pack. Did that caution. Lots of drivers involved. Some drivers deciding now's the time for another pit stop. Others staying out. So we have on the lead lap your top 13, 14 cars. First car off a lead lap, Shane Cameron, and then Andrew Fawcett, John Patrick, Nate Franklin, Philip. Those 3 cars all 2 laps off the lead, and then Philip Linden 4 laps off the lead in 19th place. Coffard 5 laps off the lead, and Alexander Bueller, Nicholas Harter, Kyle Smith, Justin Hall, Devin Peters, and Justin Lamons, all our retirements so far here in tonight's Reddit iRacing League race.
Yeah, very difficult to see what has happened to our P5 in points. Alex Copper, just not his night. Very difficult. But John Patrick not having any more of a friendlier night tonight, currently in P17. David, I'm going to shut up. These guys are about to go green, and we've got 5 minutes left of racing.
Blanton makes a pretty early jump, stretches the pack out somewhat. Giovanni Romano follows with him well, though. Antonio Alvarez caught napping a little bit. Brian Molitor will try and go around the outside. Behind that, Alex Albert, Jordan Babcock, and the like. Great restart from Blanton, but now it will start to pack up as we've got 5 minutes of racing left. If it stays green, that'll be 8 laps or so. If it doesn't, well, that would probably be race over if we saw a caution at this point. Brian Molitor, huge moves on Antonio Alvarez, gets his nose to the inside. They almost touch. Brian Molitor has the same age tires as Alvarez, so no difference there. They pitted on the same lap. Albert has made a move on Flamion, so he's up into 5th place. Time is counting against him, though. Romano goes for the lead of the race on Dylan Blanton, and he just about gets it into 3 and 4. Touches a little bit of the apron. That'll hurt him. Blanton will get the throttle open earlier. Will he have anywhere to go to try and take the lead back? Not sure. Side by side for the lead still, though. Romano defending on the inside. Blanton going to try and go around the outside. Alvarez has hold Molitor behind him. Albert in 5th, Flamion in 6th. Babs Nation fans, he's in 7th. David Hall holds 8th. Still side by side for the lead. Blanton fights back around the outside, and he keeps his nose in front. The purple car of Giovanni Romano. And suddenly Alvarez right in position as well. What can he do? Molitor, huge run to the inside, has to back out of it. The 2 Castrol cars, green and red, around the outside. Turns 1 and 2. Too wide, too deep for the lead of this race. 3.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how much Giovanni Romano is really struggling on that bottom line with such, I wouldn't say fresh tires, but a bit newer tires. He's really having a hard time, but we are seeing kind of the sweet spot for that outside line to be preferred for these cars as we're watching. Yeah, those 2, we're going to go 3 wide into turn 1. Brian Molitor pulled back there. I think that was a very smart move as he tried to make a move on Giovanni Romano and Dylan Blanton. But David, these guys going side by side. Alex Albert is licking his chops and he's watching. But David, I just don't know if he has enough time left. He is almost a full second back. And my goodness, is he really making a strong effort of this?
Absolutely. He didn't manage to close the lead pack much on the previous lap. Let's see if he got anything this time. They still go 2 wide for the lead of the race. Romano still down low. Blanton still up high. Brian Molitor in 3rd has his choice of line. And I think through turns 1 and 2 this time, Alex Albert got just a little bit closer. He was 3/10 of a second faster than the leaders on the previous lap. Blanton goes around the outside of Romano. Molitor thinks about it as well. Can't quite do it. There's just not quite enough space for them all to go single file. Alex Albert is dragging Jordan Babcock along as well to try and join the party with 2 minutes, 5 laps left. Lead the race to Blanton, Romano, Molitor, Alvarez, Albert, Babcock.
Yeah, this top group is, big dive by Giovanni Mano to cut off Brian Molitor, looking for an opportunity to watch Giovanni Mano slide.
Romano in the wall, hard in the wall. He's in the infield. He's sideways. He's dropping down positions. He's going to hit the wall. Romano out of this race, slams into the pit wall all the way across the infield. Huge, huge for Romano.
That had to have been extremely scary for Alex Albert and Jordan Babcock. Fantastic driving by all of them. But yeah, Giovanni Mano just did not get the car planted and just clipped that wall, and it was all over for him, David. But we are still green. We have 3 laps to go at the line.
Watching on board with Jordan Babcock right up at the bumper of Alex Albert. Those guys have been elevated 1 position from Romano's incident, and they have just about caught Blanton, Molitor, and Alvarez. It'll be the white flag this time by less than a minute on the play clock. Molitor knows it because he's going to the inside of Dylan Blanton. Alvarez still happy to be the passenger in this pack. Side by side for the lead. Charlotte Motor Speedway in red at iRacing League. Dylan Blanton pulls out to see the white flag. Waves for him. 1.5 miles of racing still to go. Molitor wants to be a part of this as well. And suddenly Alvarez looking a bit racy as well. 2 more turns left to go to see the checkered flag. Blanton has a lead. Molitor has a run. And Alvarez sitting pretty in 3rd as well. This looks like Dylan Blanton has done everything he needs to do. Checkered flag in the air, and he is a winner in red at iRacing League. Blanton gets 2nd, Alvarez 3rd, and Babcock just pips Albert to the line, I think, as well. No, we will get 1 more lap. The white flag didn't wave last time. This is an interesting development. So this gives Molitor an opportunity. Molitor side by side with Blanton into 3 and 4. Babcock has gotten ahead of Albert as well, so he's in this as well. Side by side, Blanton and Molitor. This time, it's checkered flag in the air, and Molitor pips it. Molitor gets his nose in front.
David, what a fantastic finishing drive by Brian Molitor and Dylan Blanton. And Brian Molitor, David, up 18 spots tonight. He gridded on this field, P19, working his way all the way up. Antonio Alvarez, we called him out, usual Dick Insider Hard Charge, also up 10 spots. David, I don't think with 20 minutes left in this race, we could have remotely guessed this would be our podium. Brian Molitor, Dylan Blanton, and Antonio Alvarez. But man, what a fantastic event tonight, just showing what some classic oval driving and some cautions could do to really shake things up.
I mean, yeah, exactly. We had our status quo for the first 40 minutes, and then, wow, did that caution shake everything up. Great racing from everyone all the way to the end. And I think this was a pretty successful combination of car. The racing that we saw on this oval, not bad whatsoever.
No, not bad indeed. I mean, I think our top group was side by side pretty much the entire race. And then, yeah, I just think big disappointment to see Alexander Bueller drop out, who led quite a few laps tonight. But yeah, I am just so excited to talk to this podium group, because I don't think they expected to see themselves in this position at the halfway point of this race. But here they are with a fresh podium and some brand new names for us tonight.
So your finishing order. Once again, Brian Molitor, congratulations to him, a big win. Dylan Blanton and Antonio Alvarez join him on the podium. 4th place in a great recovery drive after being caught the wrong side of the lead lap and the safety car. Jordan Babcock gets 4th ahead of Alex Albert in 5th. He'll probably be pretty happy with that. 6th goes to David Hall. That's a good result from him. Christopher Flamion and Ryan Verholst 7th and 8th. Rounding out your top 10 is Jeremy Rogers and Harrison Chandler, up 15 spots to finish in the top 10.
Yeah, what a great group. And rounding out the bottom group here, Steve Sims, P11, Austin Burdick, P12, Daniel Bartz, P13, Andrew Fawcett, P14, Nate Franklin rounding out our top 15. Fall behind that, John Patrick, P16, Shane Cameron, P17, Giovanni Romano. Unfortunate incident tonight. Also, our P2 in points, P18, Philip Linden, P19, Alexander Crawford rounding out our top 20. Unfortunately, 5 laps down. Nicholas Carter, P21. Alexander Bueller, P22, Kyle Smith, P23. Unfortunately, that group did not complete too many laps. And then our following group, Justin Hall, Devin Peters, and Justin Lamons rounding out 24 through 26, had a very tough night. David, were you able to grab some folks from the podium here? I'm looking for Brian Molitor, and unfortunately, I do not see him. I think we may need to grab our man Dylan.
Yeah, didn't immediately find Brian Molitor there, but our second place man, Dylan Blanton, congratulations, second place. That's a pretty good result here in RIL.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed though. I felt like I kind of threw it away. My entry to 4 wasn't as good as I wanted on that last lap.
I mean, door to door for the race lead on the final lap. Fantastic to watch, but your stress levels at that point, how was that?
Very high. He kind of dove a lot deeper than I thought he would, and then I reacted to that, and I pushed on the middle of the exit of 4, and I clipped the wall just a little bit. I think it took the speed that took away the speed needed to get to the line in front of him, unfortunately.
Reddit iRacing League, as you know, loves some interesting combinations of car and track. Last round with the Dirt Legends around a rallycross, and this week the Australian V8 supercar around Charlotte Oval. Your impressions of how this car races on an oval?
It's not bad at all, really. I thought it'd be more snappy. So kudos to whoever made the setup. It's very balanced. I'm more of a specialist at oval than I am road, and I definitely thought this was a great combination that raced more like an oval car than you'd think a road car would at this place.
Going long as you could in the second stint after the first caution, we saw a lot of people take green flag stops then, and those who stayed out hoping for another caution looked like they really benefited from that, you included. Was that the strategy, or were you just always did you just take the fuel tank as long as it went and then got lucky with the caution?
It's a bit of both. Once I saw people stopping early, I figured I might as well run the tank out because I felt like I had a somewhat of an advantage on the older tires. But then just everyone had pitted and I was in the lead. I said, well, I might as well run the tank out because if I get a caution here, I'm leading the pack. And is the way it turned out. So that's just the way it worked out. Or good.
Well, congrats on a good result, a good points haul for you, and a good showing. Anyone you'd like to thank?
Not at this time, it's the first couple races on a new rig, so had some fun there and a good second out of it.
Awesome. There you go. Dylan Blanton, second place finisher here at Charlotte. Aaron, I'll let you move a little further down the order.
Yeah, I have with me Antonio Alvarez finishing in P2, a very strong drive tonight. Antonio, we really enjoyed seeing kind of what happened on track. You heard Dylan Blanton talk about how difficult it was for some of these late runs with tires. Talk about your night, and my goodness, did some pit strategy come in?
Yeah, that was a good race, and yeah, it was all on the strategy. I early saw it was pretty hot in the front, so I just laid back and decided to save fuel to maximum.
Yeah, Antonio, I just very, very strong race for you. Talk about some of the preferred lines on the track. It looks like on fresh tires, that bottom line was pretty good, but as the tires wore out, did it help to move up the track? Was there more grip up there?
Yeah, that was faster, but I tried actually to run higher to have lower degradation. It seemed to work pretty reasonably, but yeah, that last thing it was everything on the pace and yeah, no degradation there.
Well, and Tony, we really enjoyed watching you race tonight. I think you had a very patient race, and my goodness, did it pay off for you. So, fantastic race, up 10 spots tonight, starting in P13. I don't think you have anything to complain about with a very racy and impressive P3. Any shout outs or thanks tonight?
Yeah, actually, shout out to my internet provider for this new connection. Yeah, it's working better.
Well, and Tony, we're very happy you have a good internet connection as well. We don't want to see you drop out of any more races. David, looks like we have found our P1 finisher tonight, Brian Molitor. He is all yours.
Yeah, a lot of digging around the paddock, but here we've got him, and congratulations on this win. I mean, a great final lap from you to take the lead and see the checkered flag first. Is this your first win in Reddit iRacing League?
Yes, it is.
Congratulations there.
Thank you.
You were, well, obviously the tires was a key consideration in this race, and the pit strategy as well. Did you think that pitting early was going to be a huge risk if there was a safety car, or was it just blindly following the tank as long as it would go?
I thought more than anything that it was going to be close if I pit too early, and so I just ended up behind Phil, just did a lot of lifting into the corners, and I ended up with enough fuel at the end to come in during the safety car, and that really worked out.
I mean, obviously the tires on this car, not oval racing tires, but looks like they did hold up pretty well. There was an initial pace drop off, but then it looks like everyone plateaued a little bit, and once the tires had worn in some, we saw a lot of side-by-side racing.
Yeah, that's right. They had really good grip at the beginning, and then as they wore out, both lines provided plenty of speed, and you saw a lot of side-by-side with that. I dropped off more than the other guys, I think, as my tires went. So I was pretty glad to only have about 6 minutes left at the end there.
Well, a great run to the finish to be our winner. I mean, that's as far as your sim racing achievements go, how does Reddit iRacing League rank?
That was probably one of my better ones. I feel pretty good about that. I regret making a little contact into 4 there. I drove it in deeper than I usually do, just trying to get my nose ahead. Made a little contact, but it's oval racing at the end of the day. I think it's to be expected.
Well done. Mega drive, especially in the last couple of laps to take that win. Anyone you'd like to thank?
Well, I'd just like to thank the guys that put the Reddit iRacing League together. Huge ass guys for the great broadcasts, and I don't know, thanks to mom and dad too.
The OGs, giving them some respect. Well, there we go, Aaron. That's our top 3. Great racing. Lots for people to think about. Very unique combination as well. And your final thoughts on it?
Yeah, I'm still kind of absorbing what we saw on track in terms of that caution. You don't want to see any of those guys getting into an issue, but Kyle Smith ended up causing that final caution that really shook things up, and I don't think Alex Albert and Jordan Babcock really saw themselves finishing where they did, but my goodness, what a race tonight, and congratulations to this podium, David, and I really hope this is not the last we see these guys up at the top of the field, but really fun to watch tonight.
Yeah, and with round 7 done, there's only 2 rounds left to Reddit iRacing League Season 25. Next week, we take the IndyCar Dallara DW12 to Okayama, so that is going to be interesting as well. That's a very quick car on a road course. Okayama, pardon me, has some pretty tight confines, so sort of the inverse of this race we've just seen. We'll see who'll come to the fore in that race. We'll have it live for you here on HJBC. Looking forward to that one. But until then, I'm David Haynes. Alongside me has been Aaron Thacker and our producer, Michael Derby. Thanks so much and good night.